All right, good morning, my construction entrepreneurs. Once again, no walk, right? Because I gotta handle business. I can't walk forever in the morning, right? No walk. I had to drive down to San Diego, and then now I had a quick meeting in San Diego with a smaller general contractor that wants to utilize my estimating systems, which is a really good thing. I tried to do a video. They were not comfortable with it. So maybe next time we'll see if we can do a video and have you guys in on that meeting. We're talking to those smaller general contractors. But anyway, I'm headed to go meet a good friend of mine. And this friend, his name is Ross. He's doing other things now. He lives in Irvine, California. But let me tell you a little bit of a sweet spot that Ross hits with me. When a company took a tank back in, what was that, 06, 07, 08, I stayed busy up until 09, 010, right? So during that time, I was real cocky with the work that I was doing. I was doing a lot of residential, moving into commercial public works work, right? During that time, while everyone else was going out of work, going out of business, I was still going. Now, mind you, during that time, I didn't really have a true business. What I had was a business where I was just making money. I really wasn't following the laws and regulations. Like, I had workers' comp, but I wasn't paying into workers' comp. I was still paying people underneath the table. Really wasn't doing any real accounting. So the money I was making, which was about 10 grand a month, really should not have been 10 grand a month because I should have been paying into these other obligations as a business owner. Well, I wasn't doing that. So to me, I was making a ton of money, 10 grand a month. My son was pretty young. My daughter was just being born, you know. So just in between, just about into from 09 to 10 is when I started the slowdown started to hit me, right? And what I was doing in my company. And I remember I used to have some older gentlemen that worked for my company that used to tell me, hey, youngster, you need to get into this. You need to get into that. Hey, listen. And I was real cocky with everything I did. And these guys worked for me, you know. And I used to say, hey, man, let me handle this. I got this. Why fix something that's not broke? I'm staying busy. I'm good. And really didn't understand that and was just young and naive. Well, anyway, they finally caught up to me. I went from doing $10,000 a month to $400 a week. And that $400 a week came from unemployment. That was my first time on unemployment. So here it is, I'm on unemployment, went from making $10,000 a month to $400 a week. I was devastated. I mean, you could not give me a job. You could not call and give me a job for free. That's how depressed I was. That's how sunken in I was during that time, because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know how to figure out the next step. I didn't know how to make adjustments to the major changes that was going on in the economy, right? I didn't know what to do. So I wound up getting out of construction. I was like, I'm done, right? I'm done. I was so good at what I did that, you know, I didn't have a whole lot of applications that I filled out. You know, when people wanted me, they just hired me on, and I went in there and I did my thing. So that was a little bit different for me because I had to do a different angle and be more so like an employee than like an employee/entrepreneur deal. So more like an employee/entrepreneur type deal, right? Where I go in and just really just do my thing and make this company money, and I make money. We're all happy. Well, I couldn't transition from that to just being an employee. I really had a hard time, and then plus I was just clouded with the depression, right? Couldn't even move. And some of you may understand what I'm talking about. I just really couldn't move. I just went from being a sole provider to now being providing nothing, right, for my family and my new young children, right? So I wound up getting into the floor cleaning type industry, where I was offered a job as a supervisor for a dry carpet cleaning company, and this is how I wound up getting into wound up starting a business doing floor care with another friend of mine named Mario. Also during this time, we wound up doing like a mastermind group where we used to meet at the library and read different books, discuss different chapters and everything like this, right? It was a great time, right? But anyway, so I got out the industry, got into this flooring company, started changing the way they do things, and it was good and bad. I ruffled a lot of feathers, but I made a lot of changes, right? Well, during that time, that's when I met Ross. Now, Ross, the reason why Ross hits a sweet spot is because he introduced me to personal development. He showed me about Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Joyce Myers, all these great hits where, during that time, I remember I had the iPod, what was that, the iPod Shuffle, the little square one, with just a little button in the middle and the directions around it, right? I forget which one that was. I think it was a Shuffle. Anyway, so I had one of those, and I learned how to download their stuff from different areas. I mean, YouTube wasn't that big, but in my world, YouTube wasn't that big because you paid for internet, right? So you had to download that stuff because you only had a certain amount of minutes, or the internet on those phones during that time wasn't great. You either had a flip phone or you had one of those lone Nokia phones or some other type of dumb smartphone during that time. So YouTube wasn't very, very popular for me, but I went on and I found free podcasts and YouTubes and different audio that I put on this iPod Shuffle that I listened to that put me in a different state of mind. And I used to always talk to him about it, and he put me on it, and then that's when I got into personal development. And it was such a great thing because as a business owner, you're dealing with a lot of self-motivation, right? You're motivating you majority of the time. You're in the car telling yourself, it's okay, you can do this. Because the wife, at that time, my ex-wife did not give me that motivation I need. To her credit, I did not even tell her or express to her the motivation I needed to hear as a young business owner, as someone that's out here thriving and making ends meet for our family. So she didn't even know what I actually needed, and I didn't even know how to express it, or never even took the time to express to her, to give her a shot at giving me what I need. So there was a lot of self-motivation. And there was only so much that I can do to do that self-motivation to keep me going. Well, Ross sharing that with me just took me to a whole nother level. And that's when I got back into the construction industry, and I started creating vision boards and writing down goals, and it worked. It really got me back. That energy came back, that passion came back. And that's when I went back, and some of you heard my story about me going back and partnering up with someone that I was a laborer for years later, right? So that's when I got into that working world, where I went from doing great business, not the right way, but making a lot of money, to jumping out of the construction industry, to jumping back into the construction industry as a partner with a big time general contractor in San Diego that does about 50 to 70 million in business yearly. It was a big change. So I mean, it was a drastic shift into what I was doing. Drastic shift. It changed everything about my life, everything I was doing, how I looked at things, how I solutions, how I viewed things. It just changed things completely for me. And that's why Ross hits a sweet spot. So I'm gonna try to get him on video. If not, then I'll do a follow-up video, see how things went. But that's my touch on that. So I touch bases with you later. head into Irvine, and we'll connect. See you on the next one. Thanks.